Over the past few years, we've slowly made our way across Georgia, one quiet place at a time. What's the matter, Molly? Ready to go? Each park gave us a reason to explore a little farther, wander a little longer, and discover corners of our home state we might have otherwise missed. And somehow, without realizing it, we found ourselves with only 7 state parks left. So for our anniversary, we packed the Jeep and followed the road north once again. Some places stay with you long after you leave them. Over time, these adventures became part of our story.
Yorkshire.
And as the miles stretched out ahead, I found myself remembering all the roads that had led us here. A few hours from home, we made our first stop at a familiar place. Some stops become part of the journey too, and this is certainly one of Molly's favorites.
Well,
A few years ago, I picked up this Georgia State Parks passport and started collecting stamps and stickers from each place we visited. What began as a simple keepsake slowly became a record of our adventures. One thing we've been consistently doing at every park is picking up a badge to remember our visit. We just arrived to our first state park, Hamburg State Park in Mitchell, Georgia. And they have an old grist mill here, and sometimes they even use it to grind corn for special events, I read. So we're going to check it out. Not every stop leaves a lasting impression, though. Sometimes a place simply doesn't resonate the way you hoped it would.
hey girl, what you doing here, honey?
Although Hamburg wasn't quite what we'd imagined, there was still something to appreciate about slowing down and exploring it for ourselves, which is always my favorite part of exploring.
Hey, Molly.
Hey.
Molly.
Almost immediately, Fort Yargo felt different. Where Hamburg had left us wanting a little more, Fort Yargo seemed determined to make up for it.
Hey, girl.
Hey everybody, we are coming to you from Fort Yargo State Park. And what part of Georgia is this one in?
This is in Winder, Georgia.
Winder, Georgia. It is a really beautiful state park. It's a very popular and busy state park. Right now we're just kind of driving the outer perimeter to see the different camping sites and see more of the lake. But it had a really nice visitor center. We were able to find our little park badge yet again. And Molly thoroughly enjoyed walking around on the trails and going down by the water's edge. And as usual, it was a lot cooler under the tree canopy, so that was really pretty. They're also hosting a bike race here. And so we got to see a lot of the bikers zipping through the trees and on the really nice bike trails. And I think they probably hold a lot of events here because this state park looks like it's really kept up nicely and that it's got a pretty good budget to run things. So a great one to check off our list. Along with my state park passport, I also bring a travel journal with me to document my trips. The passport helps me remember where we'd been. The journal helps me remember how it felt. With every mile, the landscape began to change. The roads grew narrower, the hills a little steeper, and before long, we found ourselves back in the mountains. Before heading to the cabin, we stopped to pick up our welcome packet at a small local store in Suches. Places like this always make me slow down. It was exactly the sort of place I love stumbling across while traveling. I spotted these crocheted headscarves that immediately caught my eye, and I later returned to purchase 2 of them, but I kind of regret not getting them all. Tucked away high up in the mountain, the cabin was exactly the sort of place we'd hoped for. Simple, quiet, secluded, and surrounded by nature. Hey, girl. Come on out. Hey friends, we've arrived to our cabin destination. It was so nice to just roll up here and step foot out of the Jeep, knowing that after so many hours, we finally arrived. And this adorable little cabin is called the Birdhouse, and it's located in Suches, Georgia. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And it's so quiet and peaceful here. I love just the feel of this cabin and the decor, the aesthetic. It really does feel like a little birdhouse nestled up at the top of the mountains. Kind of feels like a tree house. Kind of feels like you're in the treetops and you can hear the creek down below going by. I'm not sure if that's easily accessible or not, but the sound of it down there is really peaceful. Now that we're here, we actually don't want to leave. So I told David, you know what, since going back towards town would take probably 30 minutes on curvy switchback roads and lots of mountain traversing, and he's already pretty tired from all the driving he's done, I encouraged him that we just stay. We just stay in for the night, have some snacks and relax and just enjoy being at our cabin destination. It's always fun to enjoy staying at a new place. And while we only had the opportunity to visit 2 state parks on the way up, it was just really rewarding experiences to be able to go into those visitor centers, collect the little park patch, the little camper badge, park patch thing that we collect, and cross them off our list. We had no idea that Fort Yargo would be such a beautiful state park, so that was a pleasant surprise. And we'll probably make time to visit at least one, if not more, of the state parks on our list while we're here in the coming days. But I'm so glad that you're with us and that you're joining us in these days. Thank you so much for being with us as we celebrate our 3rd wedding anniversary together and just enjoy having our puppy traveling with us and getting to document it along the way and hopefully inspire you with some beautiful places here in Georgia that might not always be showcased in this light. So I will touch base with you guys, probably not till tomorrow, but I hope wherever you are, you're having a good night or day, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.
Toys. I'll get it for you. Look at here. Get it, Molly Grace. Good girl.
Sometimes the best part of a journey is simply arriving. After a long day on the road, there was nowhere else we needed to be. Tomorrow would bring new adventures, but for now, we were content simply being here. Good morning, everybody. It's day 2 of our little trip here, and we're just packing up the Jeep, getting everything ready to head to Stone Mountain. It's a little bit cool here, and I know it's going to warm up a good bit, though, so we're looking forward to that. We're just going to see what the day holds. I think it's going to be filled with adventures, so let's get to it. We're heading down.
That's straight down.
Everything looked a little different in the morning light. And the farther we drove, the more I found myself appreciating the journey as much as the destination. Living in South Georgia, landscapes like these always feel a little magical to me. The roads seem to invite us to slow down and take it all in. One stop we'd been especially looking forward to was Stone Mountain. The trail began gradually enough, but before long, the incline demanded a slower pace. Thankfully, there was no rush to get anywhere, and we did stop often, not because we had to, but because the views kept giving us reasons to. Molly was determined to make the climb.
Good job, honey.
The view at the top was worth every step, and we were able to see on for miles and even see urban Atlanta on the horizon. Then, instead of going back down the mountain the way we came up, we rode the gondola. And I'm so glad we did because it was my first experience doing this. And even though it was a bit scary, I found it really fun. It was also rewarding because we were able to get a closer look at the mountain's famous carving, one of the most recognizable landmarks in Georgia. The Civil War memorial carving is the world's largest high-relief sculpture. They started it in 1923 and eventually finished it to completion in 1972. But in between that time, there was only 13 years of documented active carving work applied. Anyway, we just found this park really amazing, and it offered a great opportunity to spend time together and experience someplace new.
Yes, this would be a perfect place.
Even though this was a bit tiring and a little bit of a fatiguing leg of the journey, it's part of the adventure that we always look forward to. And no trip of ours is complete without a coffee stop. Myth and Legend Coffee House provided a much-needed caffeine fix that afternoon, and the name alone was enough to make us curious. As it turned out, the coffee was every bit as memorable as the branding.
There's your map.
By late afternoon, we arrived in Dahlonega. I'd heard so much about it over the years, but seeing it for myself was really special. And look here, this place had a cute little sign on the door that literally said pets were welcome.
Yay!
And there's something about a well-loved small town that feels instantly familiar, and every corner seemed to have its own charm. If there's an antique mall nearby, chances are we'll find our way into it. We spent a good bit of time wandering from booth to booth, admiring all the curious little treasures and whimsical collections. And then we finished up that evening at the Bourbon Street Grill, where we were able to enjoy some delicious Cajun seafood right up our alley.
Thank you.
And we still talk about that restaurant to this day. It was just so good. One of my favorite parts of traveling is waking up somewhere new. Mornings always seem to move a little slower in the mountains.
Everything's cool. So far, so good. Charger. Molly, ready to roll? Ready to go? Let's go. She said she's ready to go.
All right. Good morning.
Morning.
It is day 2 of our, officially day 2, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Of our vacation here in the
Who's
mountains.
counting? It's vacation.
Right, it's easy to lose track of time. We're getting ready to head out here in the Jeep, and David, why don't you tell us what the itinerary is for today? It's a loose itinerary, but he has a few things lined up.
We're going to stay out of the towns today. We did too much highway driving yesterday. We're going to take some of these back roads and find a couple of noted waterfalls. Just little short hikes off to some falls and some creeks that are have been told by locals that are worth seeing. We're going to try that, and maybe even make it up to a little Jeep trail called Beasley's Knob, and see if we can check Sandy in there.
Blairsville is a location on the map today, maybe for lunch. So thank you for joining us. We're going to go ahead and point the Jeep in that direction, so let's get to it.
Later.
The farther we traveled, the more I realized that some of my favorite parts of any trip aren't the destinations at all. It's the little places we discover in between. Every mile carried us deeper into a place we'd never experienced before. And there's a certain freedom that comes from having nowhere to be except the place you're already headed. roads lead somewhere, others simply remind us why we started driving in the first place. The destination gave us a reason to leave home, but the journey always becomes the part we remember.
Mama, feeling the flowers. The flower in your hair. Flower in your hair.
Some places make you slow down the moment you arrive. And the farther we walked, the more it felt like we'd stepped into another world. The sort of place that reminds you how much beauty exists when you stop long enough to notice it.
Here you guys go.
For all the places we planned to see, moments like these were what I looked forward to the most.
Here, dog.
Later that afternoon, we found ourselves at a small coffee shop called Expedition Joe. What we expected to be a quick stop for coffee turned into one of the most memorable parts of the trip. We spent some time talking with the owner, Mr. Don, whose passion for coffee and community was impossible to miss.
Demo that you see on the top of like an espresso shop. It's like a brown phone looking.
And we went away inspired and encouraged, serving as another reminder that the most meaningful discoveries aren't places at all. They're people. Next, we made our way to Beasley Knob, a trail David had been looking forward to for quite some time, because in experiencing this trail, we could earn a Jeep badge. We didn't take the trail very far into the woods, but it was really fun just to be there and experience it together. This was our third visit to Vogel State Park, but this time it looked completely different. The lake had been drained as part of an ongoing restoration project to the dam. It was surprising to see a place so familiar transformed so completely. Sometimes the things we cherish most require a season of tending before they can flourish again.
Hey guys, we just pulled off at Woody Gap. It's a little recreation area. There's a really neat trail that takes you up to an overlook, but we're not going to do that. We've just had a wonderful day exploring around, but we wanted to stop by here. I've got one of our sticker decals that I'm excited to leave, along with a lot of other stickers that are here. And we're just going to roll on our way to the next stop. The wind is definitely picked up. I think there's a front coming in. We wanted to get as much outdoor activity in as we could because I believe tomorrow it could be raining. Just come with me. We're going to go over here and we're going to place our sticker.
After a full day of exploring, there was nowhere we would have rather been than a quiet porch, good food, and each other's company. It had been a full itinerary of adventure, and tomorrow would bring another. For now, though, we were content to let the day come to a close.
I found wild strawberries.
Not every day of travel unfolds according to plan. At first, it felt like we were losing a day of our trip. But the longer we stayed, the more I realized we were getting exactly what we needed. And when the rain settled in for the day, we did too. We hadn't planned on spending the day indoors. But somewhere between the rain, the naps, and the quiet moments together, I realized that rest had been missing from our lives for longer than I'd cared to admit. And maybe this day wasn't something we lost after all.
Feeling tired, but feeling very blessed.
Before heading out for the day, I spent a little time catching up on my travel journal and state park passport. The passport helped me keep track of where we'd been. The journal helped me hold on to how it felt. With limited cell service in the mountains, we often found ourselves relying on paper maps and instinct more than technology. And honestly, I didn't mind that one bit. Hey everyone!
Good morning.
We're coming to you from day 3 of our trip, and we just arrived in Cleveland, Georgia. It's been a bit rainy, actually very rainy, ever since yesterday.
Still a little bit right now, trying to go out.
It rained all through the night, quite heavy, and even flooded in many areas, but we thought we would venture out today and just visit a nearby town that we've never been to before and get lunch here.
Ready for some lunch.
David found this little deli that has a nice outdoor patio, so we're gonna hopefully be high and dry out of the weather and maybe just explore around here afterwards. So we'll check back with you later. About to enjoy his lunch.
I'm ready. As soon as somebody gets through filming, I can eat.
After our delicious lunch, we decided to visit some nearby thrift shops. And Vintage Blessings is one that I haven't stopped thinking about, and I really wish that I had access to go there because I'd probably visit often.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, good. Okay, we're excited to look around. It was 2 stories of charming treasures and unique finds. This basket collection alone captured my heart, and every booth was presented in a lovely and welcoming way. I did leave with a couple of lace doilies because I figured they'd be easy to take back with me, although I wanted to buy a lot more things. But of course, it's not as practical to buy things when you're traveling, though looking back at this now, I kind of wish I had. not every stop resonates the same way. Sometimes a place simply doesn't speak to you the way you hoped it might. So because of that, we didn't stay at this overpriced shop for very long. Then we arrived at the Jumping Goat Coffee Roasters, and within moments, we understood why so many people had recommended it.
Hi. Oh, really? Okay. You can bring her in if you're carrying her.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It smells great in here. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Well, Molly, I think you might be less cuter than I do.
She has all kinds of
Oh, are you
outfits.
kidding? Yes. Same little door.
The coffee was wonderful, but the view was what truly stayed with us. We lingered a little longer than planned. Some places just make it difficult to leave. By this point in the trip, I couldn't help but appreciate just how well Sandy had carried us through every mile of the journey. Road trips have always felt a little more magical in the Jeep. She adds a sense of adventure to every destination and has a way of turning the drive itself into part of the experience. Before heading back to the cabin, we made our way through Helen. If you've ever been there, you probably understand why a mountain trip never feels quite complete without it. The little Bavarian-style town is full of charm, from its colorful storefronts to its flower-lined balconies. Though it's often filled with visitors, it's one of those places that's worth experiencing, and there's something undeniably charming about rolling through town with the windows down and taking it all in. Before leaving, I spent a little time with my journal, trying to put into words the things I didn't want to forget. The places, of course, but even more than that, the feeling of being here.
Hi.
This morning was bittersweet. By then, the cabin already felt a little like home, and saying goodbye was more difficult than I expected. before leaving the area, we made one final stop for breakfast and coffee. The kind of place you wish existed closer to home because you know you'd be a regular. Even now, looking back at these clips, I can still feel how cozy it was inside there. With breakfast behind us, the road turned south. There were still a few places left to see, but the journey home had already begun.
I was born in the river one day, watch me clean and cold. Oh Lord, I won't come home till the river runs dry, my friend. I was born in the mountain air, it shook me to its peaks. Oh Lord, I won't come home till the mountains had its say.
Our first stop on our journey south was Don Carter State Park, where we enjoyed a quiet morning walk beneath the trees. Goodness.
We're waiting on you.
Hey there. Hard Labor State Park was considerably busier, though we couldn't really see what the hype was, and it didn't leave quite the same impression on us. And then after that, we headed to Greensboro, a very charming little town that we noticed on our way up, and we promised ourselves we'd stop on the return trip. The only problem was that a lot of things were not open. We did attempt to get some lunch here, but they weren't serving at that time, so we just continued to roll on. Nothing beats Chick-fil-A when you're on the road, so that ended up being our go-to a couple of times on the trip, and that's okay. They have amazing iced coffee, and that was a great pick-me-up. We then headed on to another state park, feeling more revived and energized. A.H. Stevens was going to be the last one for the journey home, and this was a pretty big park. There's a lot of history to this area, and we found it really interesting to experience what it had to offer. I took some time to fill out my passport, and with each sticker, the pages grew fuller, and the journey felt a little more real. Some of my favorite travel memories have never been part of the itinerary. They're the places we stumble across, the conversations we didn't expect, and the moments we almost missed entirely. I enjoyed just driving around the park. The weather was perfect, the windows were down, and for a little while longer, there was nowhere else we needed to be. Every trip eventually reaches the point where the road begins leading home. while part of me was ready for the comfort of familiar surroundings, another part wasn't quite ready to leave the mountains behind. The little discoveries along the way, they just kind of stay with you. Perhaps that's why we keep going. We're home. We're very tired, and it's so good to be home. And I just wanted to thank you guys again for watching and going on the journey with us. I hope that you enjoyed the adventures that we got up to. I'm excited to look around in my garden because I know that in my absence, a lot of things have grown and gotten a lot bigger. So I want to see how everything's looking. And just stay tuned because I'm sure I'll be updating you more with what's going on here at the cottage. So until I see you guys next time, just be well and stay cozy. Bye-bye. What began as a simple goal eventually became part of our story. And the map may be nearly full, but the memories are what I'll carry home.